Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bible in a Year read through. Today we are kind of jumping around. We have some scriptures in Isaiah, we have some scriptures in 2 Kings, 2 Chronicles, we have the beginning of Hosea. So let's jump in. So in the 2 Kings scriptures, we're still hearing about all these kings that came in succession with one another. And we hear about one king who was absolutely awful and, took everything that was God's and sacrificed it to, the gods of the world, or to Baal. I'm going to call him Baal. It's like a bale of hay. And then we hear of a king who clung so fastly to God and to his word and to his commandments, and rid of all the idols and rid of all the things that the kings before him brought about. So again, we see this back and forth between good kings and bad kings and okay kings and terrible kings. And it's just this back and forth love affair with God. And it's really, it's just crazy to read through. Aside from the names are crazy themselves. But once you really dig into their stories, it's really interesting to see how far they stray and how sometimes they come back, and how far they stray and how sometimes they come back, which is the reason for all of the prophecies from, Hosea and Isaiah and other Isaiahs. But Isaiah was bringing about a message of joy and a song of praise, and then a warning of destruction. But what I love about these scriptures and these prophecies is that with every warning of destruction, there's always a message of hope at the end, because that is the character of our God. There are consequences to our actions. There are consequences to a life of sin. But God is a God of hope and a God of mercy and a God of peace. Which brings us to the book of Hosea. In this reading, we only read chapter 1 and 2, but 1, 2, and 3 kind of give us a full picture of the beginning part of this book. There is a marriage, an adultery, and a restoration. So God tells the prophet Hosea to go out and find an adulterous woman to marry. So Hosea goes out and he marries Gomer, and he has children with Gomer. And each child that they have together is this message, this warning, this prophecy to Israel. So the first child they have is named a son named Jezreel. And this is because the Lord says, I will soon punish the house of Jehu for the massacre at Jezreel, and I will put an end to the kingdom of Israel. And then they have a second child, a daughter named Lo Ruhamah, and it means not loved. And God tells the nation, I will no longer show love to Israel or forgive them. And their third child is Lo Ami, which means not my people, because God is declaring, you're not my people and I'm not your God. Just look at the way you guys are acting. So we see this marriage, and we see this adultery, and we see this restoration. So what this symbolizes is God's relationship with Israel. So Hosea marries Gomer, and they have these children, and she is running around on her husband, and it's heartbreaking for him as a husband. So the marriage represents God's covenant with Israel. Do you remember on Mount Sinai how he made a covenant with his people? That was like a marriage contract. A marriage is a covenant in itself. It's symbolic of God's relationship with us. We are the bride of Christ. We often relate our relationship with God to a marriage covenant. So God is faithful. He is faithful. He restores, he saves, he blesses. He's such a good God. But we as people tend to be adulterous, and just like Gomer was running around on her husband, we see in these successions of kings how some of them would take all of the blessings that God gave Israel, and they would take all of those things, just like it says in Hosea chapter 2, you're going to go out and pursue your lovers with the wine that I gave you, with the grain that I gave you, with all of these provisions that I gave you, and you're going to Give them to your lovers, give them to your idols. Just like we as a people sometimes take all of these blessings and we sacrifice them to the idols of the world. Just like the Israelites would take all of the blessings from God and they would sacrifice them to the gods of the world, or to Baal, or to whatever, to Molech, to whatever gods that the world was worshiping at the time. So that's the adultery that is symbolized in this relationship with Hosea and Gomer. And in chapter 3, which I don't think we read today, there's a restoration where God tells Hosea to pursue Gomer, to pay off the debts to her lovers, and to bring her back home, just like God pursues the Israelites. Because think about it. At this point, when someone commits adultery, they have every right to divorce them, just like God had the right to divorce, to break off the covenant, to divorce Israel. And it seems like he's thinking about it. But again, with that message of destruction and those consequences that are brought about by our own actions, God always throws in a glimpse of hope. Just this little glimmer of, you know what? All of these things, but my mercy and my kindness overpower all of those things. So there is that restoration. There is that I'm going to pursue you again, and I'm going to pay off your debts, and I'm going to bring you back home to the safe place, because I am a good God and I am faithful, and my mercy and my covenant love overpowers the sin that you are living in. And it's still true for us today. God's love and mercy is so much more powerful than anything we've done, than anything in our past that we feel holds us back from that covenant relationship with God. So he is faithful when we are faithless. He loves us before we even know who he is. We love him because he first loved us, and he is still pursuing us, and he still wants that relationship with us today, no matter how far we've strayed away, no matter what we've done. He loves us with an unfailing love. So just remember that today, that his mercy and his grace and his love is stronger than any sin. And that's true for you, and that's true for me, and that's true for anyone else out there who needs that glimmer of hope today. All right. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.